The story of Samson is one of the most dramatic and powerful stories in the Bible. It is a story about incredible strength, difficult choices, betrayal, failure, and ultimately redemption. Even though Samson was one of the strongest men who ever lived, his greatest battles were not against enemies but against his own weaknesses. Long ago, the people of Israel were living under the control of the Philistines. For many years, the Philistines oppressed them and made life difficult. During this troubled time, there was a man named Manoah and his wife. They had no children, and for many years they had hoped and prayed for a child of their own. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife with an extraordinary message. The angel told her that she would have a son. This child would be special because God had chosen him before he was even born. He would be dedicated to God for his entire life and would begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines. The angel gave specific instructions. The boy's hair was never to be cut because it would be a sign of his dedication to God. This child would grow up under God's special calling. Soon the promised child was born, and they named him Samson. As Samson grew, God blessed him and filled him with great strength. But this was no ordinary strength. Samson could do things that seemed impossible. On one occasion, he encountered a roaring lion while traveling alone. Instead of running away, Samson seized the lion and tore it apart with his bare hands. Word of Samson's incredible power spread throughout the land. Over time, Samson became a judge of Israel, a leader chosen by God to guide and protect the people. Again and again, he fought against the Philistines. In one famous battle, Samson defeated 1,000 Philistine warriors using nothing more than the jawbone of a donkey. His enemies feared him. No matter what they tried, they could not defeat him. But while Samson was physically strong, he often struggled to make wise decisions. He acted on impulse and sometimes ignored God's guidance. These choices would eventually lead him into trouble. One day, Samson met a woman named Delilah and fell deeply in love with her. The Philistine rulers saw an opportunity. They knew they could not defeat Samson through force, so they decided to discover the secret behind his strength. They approached Delilah and offered her a large amount of money if she could find out how Samson could be captured. Delilah agreed. She began asking Samson questions. "Tell me the secret of your great strength," she said. At first, Samson did not tell her the truth. Instead, he gave her false answers. He told her that if he were tied with special bowstrings, he would become weak. Delilah tested his claim while he slept. But as soon as the Philistines appeared, Samson snapped the bowstrings as if they were threads. Delilah was frustrated. Again, she asked him for the secret. This time, Samson said that new ropes would make him weak. Once again, Delilah tested his answer. Once again, Samson easily broke free. She continued questioning him day after day. Each time, Samson lied. But Delilah did not give up. She pressured him constantly, asking the same question over and over. Eventually, Samson grew tired and worn down. At last, he revealed the truth. He told Delilah that he had been dedicated to God from birth and that no razor had ever touched his hair. His uncut hair was the sign of the special promise between him and God. "If my head is shaved," Samson said, "my strength will leave me." This time, Delilah knew he was telling the truth. She secretly called the Philistine rulers and told them to come. That night, Samson fell asleep with his head resting in her lap. While he slept, a man came and shaved off his hair. When Samson awoke, he expected to escape, as he always had before. But this time was different. His strength was gone. The Philistines rushed in and captured him. They bound him with chains and took him away. To make matters worse, they blinded him and threw him into prison. The mighty warrior who had once terrified armies was now a prisoner, grinding grain like a slave. It seemed like the end of Samson's story. But God was not finished with him. As the months passed, Samson's hair slowly began to grow back. More importantly, something else was changing. In his suffering and humiliation, Samson began to turn back to God. He realized the mistakes he had made. He understood that his strength had never truly come from himself. It had always been a gift from God. One day, the Philistines held a massive celebration. Thousands of people gathered in a great temple to honor their false god and celebrate Samson's defeat. To entertain the crowd, they brought Samson into the temple. The people laughed at him. They mocked him. They believed their victory was complete. But Samson had one final prayer. Quietly, he called out to God, "O Lord, remember me. Please strengthen me just one more time." God heard his prayer. Samson was standing between the two central pillars that supported the entire building. He placed one hand on each pillar and pushed with all the strength God gave him. The pillars began to move. The temple shook. Then the entire structure collapsed. The rulers of the Philistines and thousands of people inside were crushed beneath the falling building. In that final moment, Samson defeated more of Israel's enemies than he had during all the years of his life. Samson's story is both inspiring and cautionary. It reminds us that great talent, strength, and ability are not enough on their own. Character, wisdom, and faithfulness matter just as much. Samson had incredible gifts from God, yet his poor choices led him into trouble. Still, even after his failures, God did not abandon him. No matter how far we fall or how many mistakes we make, God can still work through our lives when we turn back to him. Samson's life shows us that failure does not have to be the end of the story. With humility, repentance, and faith, there can be restoration and purpose once again. And that is why the story of Samson continues to inspire people thousands of years later. It is a powerful reminder that true strength is not found in muscles or physical power, but in a faithful relationship with God. When we rely on him, he can help us overcome our weaknesses, redeem our mistakes, and fulfill the purpose he has for our lives.